Welcome back, McClever Thoughts Podcast with Punchie Money. How y'all doing today? I want to get straight into it, man. And y'all well, I don't know if y'all know where I'm going at with this, but I gotta go straight to talk about Uncle Shannon Shaw, man, and these allegations that he under messing with this 20-year-old Caucasian woman, and basically the I'm gonna just say his image is being attacked. I don't want people to deem him well. Or I'm seeing it from a lot of women more so than anything. I don't want people to deem this man as a predator, as this man that just chase young girls. I think that's just the stigma on him right now, and more so coming from our own people. It's coming from our own people, just shame, and throwing them up under the bus, because they can. But as a black man, not saying that his actions are just accepted by everybody and should be accepted by everybody. But let's just be real with it. He was doing some freaky activity and they got out there. He was doing things that most of us do, being freaky. And I don't want it to be seen like, he just outright a nasty man. Because I don't see him like that. I don't know him personally, but I don't see him as just being this evil man that I think society trying to paint him. I think his business got out there. The girl was legal. She wasn't underage. Even though people want to say that age gap is huge, and it is. It's 30 years apart. No, more than 30 years. It's a good gap right there. But it's still in the lines of being legal. So you can't condemn him as a pedophile because he's not a pedophile. A pedophile is an offense, is a charge. And that's just how I see social media. I think sometimes we as people, we be ready to see some type of dramatic issue so we can jump on it and judge it and critique it, but not realize you don't want to be on the other side of that fence. I'm a firm believer, and I honestly believe this: the energy you put into the universe, the energy you get back. And don't look at that just as a positive thing. Don't look at it as just as a negative thing. Sometimes look at it as from a free will perspective as well. See, y'all don't think about that. Y'all don't think about the free will energy that you're putting out there. And I can elaborate on that. Some things you don't have to say, or you don't have to be a part of. You choose to be a part of it. You choose to give your comments. You choose to judge. You choose to feel how you want to feel. But let's just be real with it. Is it always right? I can have an opinion about something, but is it always right for me to have an opinion? Hell, is it always right for me to say something? To be a part of it, to feel the way I want to feel, because how I feel in that moment. And I don't think a lot of us realize that we look at life in the moment. We live life in the moment from a lot of different perspectives. We live life in the moment. And I think in Shannon Shaw's situation, he was having too much fun. He had a whole lot of fun. Not realizing that he became pretty much reckless at the things that he was doing. And that's how his business got out there. That's how he was put in a situation to where somebody was able to have something on him because he was having too much fun. To be honest with you, at a certain point of our life, we do have to slow down. I have to learn. I had to learn that myself. When I was younger, I was at them. 24/7, I was at them. And then as life began to hit me, I started realizing, I'm chasing all these women and it's meaningless. It's meaningless. I wasn't really gaining that from it. Hell, I was putting myself in a lot of situations. To catch AIDS, that was one situation you put yourself in. To have multiple baby mamas, that's another situation you put yourself in. To just have drama, period, that's another situation you put yourself in. And at the end of the day, you can go blame, well, if you would have did this, I wouldn't have been like that. Or if I would have, knew better, I would. No, it's your own accountability. And you can't blame nobody else but yourself for the situations that you go through. And I want to say about Shannon Shaw, I think this is an eye-opener for him. I think this is something that's going to allow him to see how he moving and how he might need to switch it up. I think a lot of us need to be attentive to, how we need to switch it up. And listen, you don't have to go through a personal experience to learn from experiences. You know what I'm saying? Let me get prime example, Shannon Shaw experience. It's like touching you can compare that to touching a hot stove. We see Shannon running around the motherfucker house screaming and yelling and burn. We know not to go and touch that same old stove Shannon touched. We should learn from that. We should build from that. This should be something that all of us can see, like, hey man, we might need to move a little different if we in those situations. It might be it's some other guys in the same situation as Shannon. It may not be as profile how Shannon situation is, but it's somebody, literally saying, damn, that could have been me, or man. And let's say, they ain't got the money Shannon got, but they blessed, so let's say they like, man, I do got a little chick, I always want some, but sure, is she exploiting me, or is she, using this to blackmail me, or however we want to look at it. It can be an eye opener for some other people. Really, it can be a strong eye opener. It should be a strong eye opener for a lot of people, because we don't want to be building all this success up and then it's being stripped away from us. It gotta be hard for him right now, because you gotta think about it. All his business is out there on the front street. He gotta pay somebody to keep his image from being tarnished. He has to, just move different, because even now he gonna have to even be a little more silent, and because that controversy, I call it being under a microscope. His life finna be under a microscope, and no telling what else social media and people, and Shannon definitely gotta watch the ones that know him really, like the people who really know him, because shoot, you don't know what somebody finna be offering them, to tell stuff about him, like that's why I say his life under a microscope. You know what I'm saying? So it's really he really finna see, who really for him, who gonna turn against him. He really finna see how strong his faith is and whatever he believe in. He finna see, cause he gonna have to be in touch with all of that. He's gonna have to really understand, his issues and his situation right now. And that's a lot of soul searching. That's a lot of having, spending time with self, giving self a straightening, like T.I. would say, so definitely praying for the brother. Come on, y'all, especially us colored folks. We got to be more helpful and more If we looked at this as a mental illness, let's say this is a mental illness. Not saying it is. I'm just saying, let's say this is a mental illness. When we want to help the brother, overcome that mental illness so he can be more of a influence and a testimony to us as colored people. I think we should be more so, hey, Shannon's gonna be all right. You're gonna get it together. More so saying you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? That man probably heard that. He done heard that a lot in his life. And y'all don't. I think that's what we don't. I think that's something that we don't take in consideration too. Even our successful colored people, a lot of them done been through some shit. Y'all thinking y'all be one of them people life, man. Them people done been through some shit. Some of them people, you done went through a whole lot. That's what makes them so creative. You know what I'm saying? When you look at some of these people's backstories, and even the stuff that they have to deal when they get in that midst of that success. Some of them people have to deal with a lot. They was dealing with a lot before they even got there. Everybody's successful. Majority of people successful ain't come out of the best upbringings and household. I never forget, I was watching DMX story, man. And you say mama whooped them and made them stay in the room and for a whole summer. Shit, that's traumatizing. Cause I know, man, cause my man, my mom used to beat my ass when I was bad. And it was summertime, I had to stay in the room, go take a bath. Eat your ass in that room and think about what you done did. Now, I don't think I stayed in there the whole summer, but I stayed in that bit for a couple of days. Only time I came out is to eat. That was it. Shit, I turned out fine. So I grew up in a single parent household. Some people could have looked at that and it could have been traumatizing for me, but I thank my mama for the mad whoopings. But for some people that's traumatizing, especially if they dealing with it on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Not some people's. We were working with youth, man. Some of these kids don't even eat. So imagine some of them people growing up in the industry. Some of them can tell you. I think Viola, before she became successful, I think it's something she was homeless. Which majority of the people in the industry, especially the ones who pick up and go to California and all these other different places, those people be homeless. And they use their creative abilities and their God-given talents to be successful and fulfill their dreams. People come out of these rugged, rough households, these messed up, crazy environments, backgrounds. A lot of people be crying for help, be crying for love. They don't be crying for tear down. That's why when some people do get to that point where they be like, F the world, you know what I'm saying? That's why we see what we see. Because they've been effed on so much. People didn't be so quick to just throw them under the bus. Man, I root for my people. That's just keeping it real. So, I hope somebody got something out of this today. Y'all be safe out there, man. Summertime coming, when it get hot, man. I'm going to say this, stay prayed up. We in some troubling times, people. We in some times where the world love its own. So be on the swivel. You know what I'm saying? Stay prayed up. In some people's situations, stay vexed up. Y'all just be safe out there. You know what I'm saying? Take the Lord with you everywhere you go. And remember my motto, pray for me, don't pray on me. McClever Thoughts podcast with Punchie. Y'all have a blessed day.